Of all the titles and accolades that a film can earn, perhaps the most coveted is that of highest grossing of all time. Filmmaker James Cameron has held this title for generations. Cameron would first claim this title in 1997 with the release of his historic film Titanic. Titanic would go on to become the first film to ever gross over $1 billion, easily beating the previous record holder, Steven Spielberg's own Jurassic Park. Titanic would go on to end its lengthy theater run with a whopping $1.84 billion. Titanic was able to hold the throne for over a decade, brushing off heavyweight contenders like The Phantom Menace, Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, and even Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, which currently is tied for the most Oscars held by any film. Finally, in 2009, a film would knock Titanic out of the #1 spot. Famously, Cameron's long-awaited project Avatar would revolutionize cinema. It would make history by becoming the first film to make over $2 billion and took the #1 spot with a total gross of $2.749 billion with a B. By the year 2019, a James Cameron film had held the title of highest all-time grossing movie for over 20 years. That is until the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige would release the final part of their MCU chronicle, Avengers: Endgame. Even before its release, experts were predicting that Endgame would be able to challenge Avatar for the #1 spot. The film would start its record-breaking tear by selling more pre-sale tickets than any film before. Endgame had a historic release by setting records for highest-grossing opening weekend in both the domestic and the global box offices. And it didn't stop there. Endgame was climbing the leaderboards faster than any film had ever done before. It quickly set the record for fastest film to make $2 billion. But as its theatrical release started to wind down, it became apparent that the film may not be able to collect the last, most important gem, that elusive, highest-grossing film title. That is, until a re-release came out with deleted scenes, a tribute to Stan Lee, and the first scene from the next Spider-Man movie. Marvel was shelling everything out. And at long last, in the summer of 2019, Avengers: Endgame would knock James Cameron off his throne by taking the title with $2.798 billion. Just barely ahead of Avatar. By the year 2021, Endgame had held the title of highest grossing film for just over 3 years. With the pandemic in full swing, no one thought a new film would be able to take its crown. However, James Cameron had been deep in the trench, cooking up an entire series of sequels to his old title holder, Avatar. This meant, yet again, re-releases come to the rescue. In March of 2021, Avatar was re-released to the Chinese audiences and gained just enough box office profit to retake its position as highest grossing film of all time, becoming the first film to ever win back this title. To add insult to injury, Avatar was re-released again in North America in 2022 in order to promote Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar is currently the #1 highest grossing film of all time with a whopping $2.923 billion. Avatar: The Way of Water is still on its theatrical run, and while it has already grossed over $2 billion, it's likely it will fail to overtake the original film's #1 spot. The next Avengers movies, Avengers: Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret War, are set to premiere in the mid-2020s. Will either of them be able to take the title back for the MCU, or will James Cameron continue his streak of record-breaking and become the first filmmaker to release films to break the $3 billion mark? Either way, Disney will definitely be rolling in it.